I got the finest beating of my life in 19, I can't remember, when I was given a pill to swallow and I threw it under the chair because I had pharmacophobia. I didn't want to take drugs. We've had exciting presentations in today's TEDx talks. There's something very important that we need to know. There are so many limitations that can hinder you from becoming the you want to be. However, you can put those things behind you and become the you want to be. In the world today, we have a big challenge that is revolving itself around the you. And that is our disposition to the use of drugs. Like I mentioned, not everyone would want to take any pill. But then there are some people that would rather love to take pill than to take injection. Are you there? If you want to take, you rather prefer injection to drugs, say aye. If you prefer to take pill than injection, say nay. All right, thank you. So we may be in the same family. So drugs are substances that we take and to cause an effect or a change in our body. And we take them, it runs through our system, and then it does its work. I don't want to speak in any big grammar. But then, you and I have heard about the abuse of drugs. That is, use of drugs are not prescribed or use of drugs against the dosage that is prescribed. More than 52% of youth in the college, that is in the university, still abuse drugs, and then they abuse very, very dangerous drugs. And you can see some of them can be stimulants, some of them can be depressants, and then some of them can be to just hallucinate people. And people use drugs for different reasons. This guy here is trying to enjoy himself. In July 2023, NDLEA, the agency in charge of enforcing the drug law in Nigeria, published that we have 40.3 million Nigerians that still abuse drugs in one way or the other. They may not be the popular drug pushers that you and I know, but they may be there putting on opioids and some drugs to either disrupt a particular action or reverse an action that they have done. Drugs that we take mostly affect three organs: the brain, the kidney, and the liver. And people take drugs for different reasons. Some feel cool, some just relieve their stress, some it's just for them because they want to pass. Some take coffee, and then every time they don't want to sleep, and then they take coffee. But I'll pause there and let you know, sometimes people take drugs for different reasons. While in school, I tried as much as possible to train myself to read. I started by learning how to read for 2 hours, then went on to read for 6 hours at a stretch, went on to read for 8 hours at a stretch, and then tried to write down. But a particular day, I determined I want to read for long hours, and then somebody said, okay, go along with something. So I decided to stop by night class. In those days at Unilog. So, and then I bought, what do you call the name? So I bought popcorn, and the innocent woman did not know I was going to read, added milk. So, and then I got to class. I slept like there's no tomorrow. So, but then after that, I understand that the milk I took actually is to have an effect in my memory and then try to calm me down and then relax me. A lot of people take drugs because they want to belong to a particular family. And some people take drugs because they want to get out of depression. Some take drugs because they want to get along with the boredom and all of that. It's no longer news about the death of Mohbad and a lot of things that happened around him. You and I knew that he was a drug pusher. And then he also told his story in his song that my papa gather money, make I go poly. I go poly, but I no go school daddy, I am sorry. He said a lot of things, and then he told us that he was actually a drug pusher. And then he did a lot of things, started smoking, and a lot of drugs that could make them get along. help them to jump on the stage and then feel good. Some of them actually felt that they could get drugs for some reasons. I listed some of these, but I did not list some others. Some people want to get into drugs because they want the money. They want to win Grammy. Like Keith Daniel said that he wanted to win Grammy. And if I know win Grammy, I go see win Grammy. Repete, to my poor vitamin C, my two vitamin C. So he can say that that's one of the reasons why he wanted that. And they want to be in the news. They want to be on the highbrow. They want to spend the dollars. They want to be everything. So they try to push drugs, and then so that they can get the money, so that they can get the fame. But then look at the effect of drugs. Now, I told you that drugs go into liver, kidney, and then the brain. Now, if you look at here, you see an healthy liver. When you take drugs, for example, if you take alcohol or pelebe, those ones that I used to take, when those people that are taking the Michael, all those people that are going Moshe, Olosha, and all of that, by the time they move, they take pelebe and then they take it in. So look at what happens to their liver. It becomes fatty, and then after a while, they have liver cirrhosis. And that is an express route to death. And I look at another thing, another effect of drugs on the brain. It causes distortion in the brain. It does not occur immediately. Then it causes a relapse in the brain such that it creates a pathway. If you have a particular bushy road, and then you take 2 or 3 persons to pass a place, on day 1, you go there day 2, you go there day 3. Before you pass the place, after 21 days, without you using a cutlass, a path had been created there. And that's the same thing that happens when you take drugs for any reason whatsoever. It creates a pathway and then therefore acts as a circle for addiction. That's why it's discovered that people don't easily get away from taking the drugs. They want to take it over and over and over again. Female and male alike. Some people, it's because of their peer pressures, and then they said they don't want to try it the first time, and then after a while, they want to try it. Some don't even want to try it. That reminds me of the story of a very good friend, or a friend in quote, who was living with some group of friends in school, and then they had been advising him or encouraging him to actually eat weed, take weed. So on a particular day, he went to school, and then he came back, they cooked beans and added something. So when he came back and then they gave him beans, guy, Afana, are you not going to take something? And then he took the beans and then they asked him, Afa, how you doing? He said, Otifago. He was really, really disturbed that why? He was actually forced to start taking drugs. Well, he was able to get out of the circle because he spoke out. He was able to get some enlightenment, and that's why we're doing that. That you should say no to drugs. You see the adverse effect of drugs on our society, particularly the dominant one. Normally is known for drugs because he lived in that part of UK that you know, known for illicit behaviors, and then came back, tried to import some Nigerians into that. One of his signees, Liski right now, is not balanced in his speech. If you see one of the viral videos, and then he tried to talk staggering because of the long use of drugs. You wouldn't want to get your education or get your career around taking drugs. I'm going to tell you of a story of people who try to enhance their career with drugs. It may not be education. It may be some other things. They try to enhance their career taking drugs. And then when you see people taking drugs, you let them know the adverse effect of taking drugs. Raise your voice and then educate them about the illicit use of drugs. Let them go for counseling. If they have been addicted to it, let them go for rehabilitation. A lot of time, people have tried to rehabilitate people who have had long use of drugs. This man called Ben Johnson was a world record holder in 1987, and then before that time, no one had ever met up with the record. He set that record, but shortly after that, he was found to have used doping, and then those awards, those medals were withdrawn from him, and he fell from that time, never rose up back to athlete again. Do you want that to be your story after making such great innovations and then falling back as a result of introduction to drugs? That may also affect your genetic composition in some other aspect if you have prolonged use of drugs. So we must say no to the use of drugs from today, there and then, not only to yourself but to other people around you. Tell somebody, say no to drugs.